Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Everything Vaguely Paranormal. I'm Shelley Pruitt, and these are my partners in the paranormal, Mr. Blake Smith and Mr. Ryan Roberts.
What up, what up?
You guys, I am so excited for tonight. We have been talking about this ever since we got the go for it. Tonight, our
correction,
guest,
you've been talking about it ever since Hotel Josephine in August, so
That's
let's
true.
correct that really
yes,
quick.
I've been talking
Go
about it
ahead.
ever since Hotel Josephine.
Like, I met the coolest people. Y'all don't understand.
I was like, chick has got fangs. That is no joke. She has fangs. So our guests tonight are going to be from Our Haunted Lives, the #1 show on PARAflixx. It is David Taylor and Kristi Grissom, VamPara, the Lady of the Darkness. So we're going to bring them on. Hello, you guys. Welcome.
What's up? How's it going, y'all?
Ryan?
You know, I want to say, listening, you devil, watching the intro to that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a cool movie.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
I'm going to take all the kudos for that. Thank you so much, Kristi.
Big kudos, Blake, because I was getting excited. My toes were like doing this number because I was so excited. It was beautiful. I love your intro. I love it. Thank you, guys.
You know, we are going back and forth, so I could blast it out on OHL today, and just because the video was epic. Like, seriously, it was really cool, and we've been on a lot of talk shows, podcasts, and things like that. This is, that one has been really
that was
top
epic.
notch, dude, top notch. So
and I have just found my favorite guest that we've ever had. I'm just kidding.
Okay, well, thank you. So.
I appreciate that, guys.
So I have to tell you guys how I met Kristi and David.
Okay.
And went to Hotel Josephine. And of course, I kind of, me, I want to get off by myself. So I go hauling down into the basement all by myself because I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be down there or not, but I just went anyway.
Oh.
And I come up out of the basement and I see Mike and Chris from the Tennessee Wraith Chasers standing there. And I see Kristi and David. Mm-hmm. Well, there's Fireball in my room. And I'm in kind of a hurry to get to it. And so I go whizzing past them. I look at Chris and Mike, go, hi, gentlemen. What? Nice to see you again. And I walk right past them into my room going, got to get in here. A little shot time. And anyway, so I come back out and Kristi comes up. She goes, hi. She goes, I'm Kristi. I'm like, hi, I'm Shelley. She goes, so we're going to be setting up. And I wanted to know if it was okay if we went up here. And I went, girl, I ain't in charge. She goes, you're not? I went, no. She goes, you walked through here like you owned the joint. I said, I get that sometimes. But I will tell you this. And Kristi, I've already told you the story. I could not remember her name because I was like, she got fangs. That chick has fangs. I was like, that is so damn cool. And so I went and I saw the lady that I was rooming with. And I walked up there and said, I just met the coolest chick. She's got fangs. And she goes, what? And I said, yeah. She goes, what's her name? I go, I don't know. I said, I got distracted. And so the lady I was with, Teresa, she comes back out. I said, you have to go up and introduce yourself. Teresa does. She introduced herself. And I said, this is my friend Teresa. And I look at Teresa. And Teresa goes, and I'm going, now ask her, what's your name? And she goes, oh, what's your name? She goes, Kristi. I go, yes, this is Kristi. I just totally playing off like I remember the whole time. Girl, you have got to tell me about this Lady of the Darkness VamPara that you have going on. Tell me a little bit because I was fascinated.
Go for it.
Well, it's a combination of my many faces, I guess. I have so many different things that I love and I'm interested in. But I have been studying vampirism for a while now under the famous Father Sebastian. And he has many books out. He's known as, I will call him the king of the vampires. He won't say it himself, but he is the king of vampires all over the world. And I
told you guys, I knew the lady who knew the king of the vampires. I told you guys I knew her.
She did. She did.
Birds. Oh,
I did. I want to make sure I got both of them. Like,
just imagine if this was a Brady Bunch and we did this. Like, Marshall just tipped off Bobby and Greg.
Right.
So there you go.
But I did. I said, you guys, I met a chick who knows the king of the vampires. They're like, what? I go, no, that's what she said.
Sebastian is incredible.
He's amazing. He has many books out. out, but he also has, he's the impresario of Endless Nights Vampire Balls. And he's had them in Europe. He has them LA. I'll be going to New Orleans at the end of October. We're talking thousands of people that show up for
Wow.
these. You dress in, usually there's a theme, but you can see girls walking around in nothing but pasties and G-strings, or you will see girls walking around in full Victorian garb. And the performances are absolutely amazing. But I've been studying that for several years, but I've been in the paranormal. Well, the paranormal has been in me.
That sounds dirty.
Since December 6, 1970, well, let's say 1571.
There you go. There you go.
So it was
Age ain't nothing but a number, honey.
right, that's right. And the famous VamPara, of course, is somebody totally completely different. But
You
I was
can
like,
you can see her right here. So that's
yep,
that's
there's
good.
Vampire. But I'm like, how a name? And somebody just came across, they're like, you're VamPara. And I'm like, what? And they're like, paranormal. I'm like, you know what? That's fucking ingenious. It's VamPara.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and I just gave you a new tagline, the Lady of the Darkness, because I'm just like, oh, she
Nice.
just looks.
I
Yes.
like that. I like that.
And Kristi's being humble because she ran this name by some of the biggest names we have in the community, and nobody has this name. So that's why she is using it. And Kristi, go on. I just wanted to let people know.
No, I mean it's
yeah.
just as simple as that. You know, you put the VamPara. I have, an alter ego, a Vivian Von Vane.
I like that one
use.
too, though.
Yes, Vivian.
And
But
it's vein like a vein.
like Vane.
Yes, like an artery. Yes.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, but the VamPara, you put the two together, and that way on our talk show, if I want to wear the fangs or if I don't, I mean, it kind of goes together. So, I mean, it's kind of simple.
So how do I get invited to this ball? I'm sorry, do I need fangs? And if so, where do I get them?
No, well, Father
you just
Sebastian is a master fangsmith. He does the impressions, and there's different styles, different lengths, and I can definitely put you in contact with that to get your own pair.
I'm gonna meet the head vampire. Double birds, please.
We're back to the double birds.
And then you'll be part of the
Saber-tooth clan.
Hell
and then
yeah!
you have to get
Mm-hmm.
then you have to get your necklace and just
There's jewelry
Kristi,
involved.
you know more about me because I'm a black swan. I'm not a vampire. I'm not into
Wait a minute. What's a
vampirism.
black swan, David?
A black swan is somebody who supports vampirism. Okay, but does not become a vampire. Okay, it's just my choice and things like that. It's Kristi's beliefs, but it's not something that I do not support. I support what she does. So if I went
He just
to
doesn't follow the path.
I don't
He wants
follow-
to go to the
yeah.
party. He just don't.
He
want
wants to
clean
go to
up.
the party, and he loves what everybody does. But there is, and it's not a religion unless you start going into the Strigavai.
Sure.
And the Strigavai is more of a path of vampirism. So that's like really in
So
depth.
when
But,
I show up to the party, and VamPara is over here, and she is on my arm, and I'm 6'7", about 290, right? And
Yeah, Ryan, he's taller than you.
I have my long hair going down, and I have a black suit on and a black shirt and black tie and stuff like that. We just walk in, and
so black swans are just supporters.
yes,
that love
Awesome.
it.
but
Now,
they
a
look at
white
her. They look at
swan-
her. They don't look at me. So
Of course they look at you.
no, they do not.
They look at you.
I'm so gross. So
Whatever, David. I'll tell you guys.
No.
David is like so nice. He was like when I met them at Hotel Josephine. He comes up. He's like, "Hi, how are you?" And he was very friendly. He's like, "Hey, let's trade cards. We got to get together. We got to do something on each other's podcast." I'm like, "Absolutely." super duper friendly. Now Kristi's running around. She's like me. She's like the squirrel with the shiny thing. She's going to kiss me. And hey, you guys come back over here. And hey, okay, are you guys ready? Because we're going to start. That was her.
The absolute perfect description for Shelley. Squirrel with the shiny thing.
David's like, tell me.
David has to reel me in sometimes.
No, but David was so calm. He was like, just tell me when you're ready. Are we ready? Are we ready? She's like, let me go look over here. And let me say, okay, are you guys ready? He's like, are you ready for me to start? She's like, yeah, go ahead. He's like, here we go. He's very calm.
So what you're saying, Shelley, is that you in the middle and the two on the left of the screen would get along very well, whereas the two on the right of the screen would be the calming force in this whole entire group. Me and Kristi and you would be running around like chickens with our fucking heads cut off.
That's right.
Ryan and David would be over here like, so guys, if we carry off and
you
walk
don't
this
need to
way.
run in there right now. Hold on.
Think about this.
And then
we
you
do
go,
this.
all right, well, I guess we're just back here.
But something you don't know about David, though,
Oh.
is that behind the scenes, he has got the worst road rage. And he can get... He can see Ryan and David. There you go. It's always the ones behind the scenes that act like they don't do anything wrong, but they will bitch and complain and da, 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 da.
And you know what? Look, Ryan and David both sheepishly giggling.
I don't know what she's talking about right now.
How fitting that seems like it's Ryan's
I'm not
answer
a black
too.
swan anymore.
You've turned to a white swan.
Kristi can't wait because we're going down to Columbus, Georgia, this next weekend or this weekend coming up, and we have about a 5.5 hour drive. So Kristi's just like, oh, God damn it. I got to do this. So
it's all right. I'll just
it'll be
make
fun.
them play 30 Seconds to Mars or the soundtrack of Queen of the Damned, and we'll be
There
fine.
you go.
There you
go.
There you go.
That's the way to
So,
go
hey,
right there.
David,
Queen of the
I want
Damned.
to ask you a question. How
Sure.
did you get into the paranormal? You know, Kristi's been in
wow.
since 1571, so you know you probably had to do a little catching up.
She's been in it for a long time. I started very young. I started when I was about 5 or 6 of, I was looking through a picture book with my grandmother, and there was a picture of my Bapsha, my great grandmother. And I told my grandmother that I see her around the house all the time. And she was like, you can't see her. She's passed. I was like, no, she's here all the time. And so it kind of went from that, and it was never discouraged, and then it kind of started adding on of, I started seeing auras. And at that time, I didn't know what they were. So I kind of told people, I saw people's rainbows of just seeing things around people. And I'm really trying to work on that to get that back into my life, but it's really, really hard when you lose something and you're trying to get it back. And I really kind of went away from it, in my high school and college years, but then
Too many keg stands.
Damn, call him out so harsh.
You see how Kristi and I got along so well? It was like
I was a wrestler in college and high school, so I didn't do too many cake stands, so I wasn't allowed to. But
body slammed that cake.
You just threw people at him.
I get out of the way. I'm drinking. Fuck off. But then my wife and I had the pleasure of going up to the Pacific Northwest, and we lived in Arizona for 30 years. And it was around the time of like all these ghost shows were going on. So I got a book and kind of, did stuff. I kind of dabbled in Seattle of going to like Fort Stevens and, what is it, Kells in Seattle and stuff like that. And I got to investigate, the Shanghai tunnels in Portland.
Oh, wow. But jealous.
Jealous. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, okay. But it's very cliquey up there. It's very clicky.
Really?
There's something called the Seattle freeze of, you go there, but, a lot of people won't respond to you, so, I had an experience in the Shanghai tunnels of, the chimes were there and I was around the chime and it started moving. And my friend Chad was on the other side talking to the person and was like, "Hey, this is moving." And my friend Chad told me, well, he probably blew on it. And it's like, really? Yeah. Like, I know I have dragon breath, but it's not that far.
It's not strong enough to make a wind chime.
Like I wasn't like this close or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was probably this far. I was like, "Hey, this is moving." So if I said, "Hey, this is moving," I don't think it would move it.
Is that the Chad that I met in Las Vegas?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, he would say something like that.
Let's talk about Chad.
No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that. The person who was in charge.
Was doing the tour. Okay, all right.
And so I kind of got discouraged of doing it because I was going into these places and investigating things and I didn't have anybody to experience it with. My wife would go and she's like, "All right, well, this is fun. Great. We're going into this, we're going to this like Fort Stevens, like this hole. It's like, is this whole like complex going to fall on us now?" It's like,
that's the thrill of it, guys. Come on.
Well, that's urban exploring.
Are you going to make it out alive? That's the whole point.
Will I go through the floor? Will this wall fall on me?
Yeah. And
or both.
So then, we, this is so funny, my wife accepted a new job. I'm retired. I used to own restaurants and things like that. So I'm retired. So we're like, let's move to North Carolina. Then the whole pandemic hits. And so it's really funny because you're looking to things to do. And all of a sudden, here comes Kristi. Just walking in. But it's the experiences that I had before with Kristi are incredible, and the experiences that I've had after meeting Kristi are even more incredible. Just validates of what I believed in before, and took a pause and just reintroduced to myself of how I believe what is going on. So I hope that answers your question. I'm sorry.
Very much. Thank you.
No, I think you need to start all over.
But this time a little bit slower this time.
Yes, you're fine, David. David.
Just make sure to look around.
It's actually really super interesting to hear you tell that story about your great grandmother because you and I have a very similar starting point. Honestly, we covered this way back on like episode 9 of this year of the podcast. That's really what intrigued me was that after my great grandmother passed away, a couple of days after she had passed, I actually saw her standing at the foot of my bed, and
which is very common.
Yeah, and it kind of
after they pass.
Yeah, I was 13 years old at the time, and so it was that heavy transitional period, puberty, hormones. Yeah, and so it was
I hope Grandma didn't see that.
trying to process, exactly what's happening. Damn, Shelly, you really had to take it there, didn't you?
The magazines hiding under the sink in the bathroom.
This was supposed to be such a
Grandma,
lovely story, and Shelly has just muddied it up. You bitch.
Oh, that's incredible.
I doubt it's the first time she's muddied something.
Oh, it's definitely not the first, and it won't be the last. But that's interesting when you said that. Like, I was like, okay, that's kind of cool, which led me into looking into like different books and trying to understand it and gaining that knowledge. So that's very interesting.
So how did y'all two end up hooking up with each other?
Oh, wow.
Well, I think, my memory is a little bit different than what David's memory is. 'Cause,
Remember, she's 900 years old.
That's right.
Yes.
So, go ahead, Kristi.
my memory's a little off. I mean, honestly, I can't remember if he friended me on Facebook or if he just messaged me saying, "Hey, I realized we're in the same, pretty close to each other. Would you like to come and investigate with me?" He had another partner at the time, and at that time, I was already working with Ghost Hunt Weekends, Chad Morin's thing out of Tennessee, and the Tennessee Wraith Chasers. And so I thought, did you message me? And I don't really.
No, it was kind of it was during the pandemic. So my former partner and I were looking to work with people. And so you said, "Hey, come out to Gastonia," because there is or Shelby or wherever you are. That's where you live. I'm sorry, not wherever you are. You're in Charlotte. So it's a
Wherever I
suburb.
was that weekend.
No. Well, no,
Yeah.
because you were like, "Hey, I work with these guys," and it's like, "Oh, this is cool. Let's."
But were we on Facebook?
Yeah,
Or were
we were on Facebook, and
Oh, okay.
then it was it was kind of like, we can go to this old place. It's I can't think of the name now, but it's where the old schoolhouse used to be, and it's where like
it was out in Gaston County where like the girl was murdered. I don't know exactly what you're talking about.
With the tree and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we were out there.
Oh,
And
that's right.
yeah,
That was our
and
first
that was
one.
our first one. That was our first one.
And that's when I decided I was not going to work with him.
Yeah, exactly. because no, not me, but my partner. So there.
But I didn't want to be mean, and I didn't want to say anything to him. So I just told him, I was like, well, maybe we could do something in the future, because I'm very intuitive.
Sure.
And some people I like, and some people I don't, and some people I want to work with, and some people no. I like everybody, but
I was scared to death of Kristi. I was scared to death of her. Because
I didn't even have fangs.
Listen, Shelly, you know what I'm talking about. Is when Kristi walks in, she has power.
She does. Kristi, when she walks in, she can quit fucking pointing at me.
Dude, I have told you that time and time again, Shelly.
Kristi walks in, whenever she's in the room.
Dude,
the fangs didn't scare me. I went running back to her going, "Oh my God, that's like, I wish I was cool enough to have fangs. I'm going to be cool enough to have fangs one of these days."
She in July, she did a, an event with Patty and Natalie and Alicia and everything like that. And we just did an interview with them, that we're going to air, on our thing. And I was just looking down, looking for quarters, because I don't want to look these people in the eye, because I'm going to be made of fucking frog, with these people. No,
wishes.
She has so much power, and it's just that first time that we worked with her, at that place, and the school is, the foundation is not there anymore. There's a golf course right by it, but what's really freaky is when you go over the hill, you just walk over, there's just a cemetery in the middle of nowhere. So we were there, and that was our first real investigation that we had, and it was incredible. And Kristi and I were,
I I hit it off with David just fine.
Yeah, we were working,
and the other guy just fine too.
yeah.
He did some things.
You're being nice right now.
Well, sometimes the most powerful partnerships are actually happen when they're pared down.
Sure.
Right. And I was very nice about it, and I'm like, okay, David's a smart guy. Eventually he's going to realize this person is not everything, and then it was months later, and David
Kristi, do you want to go and investigate? Nope. It wasn't even nice. She's like, no. I'm busy. I'm with Chris and Mike. So
I don't know.
I'm just joking.
I don't have a filter. I just kind of, I tell it like it is. You never have to guess with me. So it's like, But then when he said he was no longer with this other person, oh, okay, fine. Yeah, let's go.
It's funny because the thing that was really funny about it is with everything that was going on, a lot of people were doing talk shows, podcasts, whatever you want to call them. And so he bowed out, and I asked Kristi to really kind of sit in. It was going to be me and the other person of asking questions. And she sat in, and she had a couple friends come on. And we talked about Black-Eyed Children. We talked about the Slender Man. We talked about Mothman, which led me, into the thing of I'm still in development. I really want to do a documentary on the Mothman.
There's your Mothman person, right?
Yeah, Mothman's my favorite too.
Of me going to Point Pleasant and recording some things and talking to, Jeff, who owns the museum, and a great interview with him. And so then it was just like, okay, we had this, it was on YouTube. We got contacted by, Natalie from PARAflixx, and she was like, all right, let's have this, sit down, talk to him. She's like, fucking, let's go, and I told her, we want to be, the Howard Stern show of PARAflixx but we want to be the Kristi Grissom and David Taylor and the OHL PARAflixx.
Yeah, there you go.
Kind of, based on the Howard Stern show and everybody's seen the show and things like that. So we can see it of just, when we start the show, it's not just about fucking, pardon my French it's not just all about paranormal. There's so many more aspects to people that you have to talk about and get people in and get them in so they understand what's going on with these people. And Kristi riffs on me, I riff on her. She can talk about metaphysical things of what's going on. If we have somebody in that aspect, I can talk about the technical things and whatever else that is going on. And so we just mesh so well. And it was such a weird thing that happens when pardon my French again, the fucking planets align and we just go, all right, you know what? Let's do it.
Run with it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Let's do it. And, we're
it's always great when you find your people and you click and just mesh and everything just seems to fall into place.
And it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy.
I mean, you have found a true partner, whether it be, friendship, sexual, or both, or whatever, you really know that you've got somebody when you can argue and get angry.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden everything's fine.
Yeah.
And you like nothing else happened. Because, there's people sometimes you'll just fight and argue with, and then you'll never talk to them again. And it's like they kind of go away. But the ones that you can actually fight with and call them an asshole or tell them that stink, or
they've been watching our pre-broadcast, guys.
Yeah, but we use a little bit rougher vulgarity in it than just, you
Shoot, they make me
asshole
so
and you
mad
stink.
sometimes that I start making up my own curse words.
Oh, I come up with some that I'm like, where did that come from?
You know what? When Kristi, do it. Oh hell no, do it.
Oh hell no!
When she does that, I know. All right, we got to have a discussion. So, we're not going to do this.
Or
we go, Kristi, hold on. Let's talk about this.
Or I'm about to fight. Something's about to happen.
And she's being nice. She goes, "Oh hell no!" No, I'm just joking.
We've talked about that many times, like being on a podcast together. Like we can just tell, like when Shelly's about to go off, it's that finger comes up. Like she's like.
Yeah,
and we're like, oh shit, here we go. All right.
You have no idea. I spent a week with this girl in Vegas. You have no idea.
And I have no filter.
I love the fact that you have no filter. I totally respect that.
So it gets me in trouble sometimes.
That's okay. That's okay. As long as they remember you, honey, let them talk about whatever they want to say as long as they're talking about you.
Exactly.
That's right.
Absolutely. So
yeah, question.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Shelly.
I was going to ask, I wanted to know, now, David, you said you had the ability to read auras when you were younger.
Sure.
Kristi, what is your ability?
Oh, go on, darling. You
can't back out of that one now.
That's slightly evil sounding.
No, not at all. She's incredible.
Now, I'm going to say it's a touchy subject, but not in the sense that, that I don't want to talk about it. It's, I don't like labels.
Oh,
okay.
And I have abilities. I guess technically I would be called a psychic medium. I channel. I communicate in dreams, astral projection.
Wait, you actually dream walk?
No, not dream walking. No.
Oh,
well,
okay.
I mean, outer body experience, astral traveling. I guess there's a little bit of differences on those. I guess I don't know what your definition of it is, but
we can talk about that if you want to.
Right. But mine has come and gone throughout my 51 years, and so I don't like to. Because I don't have control over it. I'm being straight and honest. I don't like Patty. She has an on and off switch.
And this is Patty Negri that they're talking about.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify. We know it's Patty Negri. We want to make sure that our
audience
knows it's Patty. No, that's okay.
Patty Negri. She can turn it on and off. Mine. Sometimes I am overloaded with spirits wanting to communicate, or I see things or hear things, or I get claircognizance. I've got many of the clairs. I channel, but I don't have complete control over it. I think that's because throughout my life, I've had quite a bit of trauma, and there's been years that everything shut down during that, traumatic times. And I think it's done purposely so your body doesn't, overload with, you've already got life situations going on right here. You don't need, from other realms coming in and making things
disrupting
more
your day.
Right. And making it more difficult. So I just say I'm intuitive. And whatever happens. But I've got a little bit of all of it.
So do you find though that at different points in your life, different things have been different abilities, if that's what we want to call them, have been stronger at different points in your life versus?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, most definitely. And I can go into like at the Old Park Hotel in Texas.
We love that place.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. About a month ago, I had something happen that had never happened before. I was tasting the blood. And I know that sounds
Oh,
weird,
wow.
being a
Gosh.
vampire.
Wait, on purpose, or just kind of happened?
But I was picking up on, I could literally taste the blood. I could smell it. It was just overwhelming, and I didn't know why. I'd never been to that location. I didn't know the story behind it. And when I had multiple things happen, and I went to talk to Connie, which is the owner of the place.
Dan and Connie LaFave, we love them.
Yes, I
They're
love
such
them.
great people.
And
Incredible.
Connie was like, "You just summed up in a couple of minutes what we were trying to figure out for 6 years."
Yeah.
I told her the complete
Wow.
story of what I saw, picked up on, tasted. So
May I ask which spirit it involved, just out of curiosity? Because that's a place that I've probably hunted 10, 12 times, and we're going back in, what, 4
Right.
weeks, guys?
Something like
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
In October.
And can you tell me which spirit it involved, or was it one that maybe doesn't
there
reside there
was
normally?
there was multiple women.
Mm.
I was by the bathtub, and I was seeing, like in The Shining, when the blood just comes
Mhm.
out
Mhm.
everywhere. Blood was everywhere. I was seeing women, and then I was seeing people being bound, and being and something about bread. Like I still don't have that one figured out.
Was it the bathroom at the very back? It wasn't the one
At
at
the
the top of the
bottom.
stairs.
Now, up at the top, the second floor, that's where I first started tasting the blood. Well, I was just going to the bathroom.
Mhm.
Nothing had
Mhm.
even started yet.
Hmm.
But when we were down in the basement, there is a bathtub down in that very far back, and that's when it just flooded in. And I was seeing women dying. I was seeing women crying, and then babies, and being bound, and just it was horrible. Absolutely horrible, and I had to get out of there. And
You just got me all chilled up, girl. Got
Yeah.
chill bumps all
There you
over
go.
me.
for
There you go.
for whatever reason, apparently, and I apologize if I'm getting this wrong, Dan and Connie. Somebody had said something about they had women, they would force them to have the babies or abortions, or they would sell the children, or something like that. And I was just picking up on all of these women's pain and sorrow, and just the blood was just everywhere.
Overwhelming.
Wow.
Everywhere.
Yes.
Overwhelming. And I may have been getting 2 and 3 stories all put together. That's why I'm saying I haven't been able to hone in on, okay, this goes with this over here, this goes with this. So I may have been getting 3 or 4 different stories all at one time. There's something about a woman that was handcuffed and tied to a bed up in one of the rooms. And then there was a little girl that came and visited me the night before we even went. And she's like, I look forward to seeing you, little girl. You know, it's so it's exactly, it's a
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
you know,
I'll tell you something real quick, because I want to follow it up with a question.
Sure.
Before I ever went to Yorktown the very first time, I was staying at my friend's house, and I was asleep on the couch, and there was an upstairs and a downstairs, and I was in the middle. And I was laying there, and I was set to leave to go investigate Yorktown Memorial Hospital the next day. And I wake up because I hear somebody in my ear say, "They know you're coming." And I sat up, and I'm ready to, I'm like going, who just
You and
whispered in my ear
Kristi
that
are
wasn't
gonna
funny?
get along well.
and they do. They
And that was
know.
before I'd ever been. And I thought somebody was just jacking with me. And I sat bolt upright, and I'm like going, okay.
They
what?
know.
So
They-
you
they
do
know.
believe that if they feel like they can talk to you or communicate with you, you
Yes.
think they can contact you, even though you've never been to a location before?
Yes, it happened before Hinsdale. And
Tell us about Hinsdale.
I told David.
Nope. Nope.
I told David the name. No, Hope. I get them all confused. Hope was at the old Park Hotel. Alice, dinosaurs, a couple of other things before we got to Hinsdale.
Okay, Kristi,
Yeah.
can you hold on 1 second?
Yeah.
Okay, so Kristi and I have been to some of the most incredible places you can be. Okay. When we went to Hinsdale, I think that we took it lightly, even though we protected ourselves. But in the end, it changed everything about what we think about the supernatural, paranormal, anything, whatever.
It changed everything for me.
It is.
Okay.
It is one of those places of where, and Kristi, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is one of those places of, if you don't understand what you're doing,
Don't
you're
play.
you are going to be in trouble.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
Now, having said that, though, people can go there and get absolutely nothing.
Absolutely.
You know, but I within.
I don't know, Kristi. I'm going to agree to disagree with you on that. I think that place will fuck anybody up. I'm sorry.
Whether they realize it or not.
Yes.
The paranormal hangover.
They might blame it on this or that.
Listen to me right now. I will never go back to that house again. Ever.
Wow, it got you that bad.
That bad, huh?
And I can't wait.
Ever.
I'll go with you, Kristi. You let me know when, girl. I'll be on a plane.
I will never go back there again.
See, I want to go.
You will not go without me, because you can't have me without there. You know, no, seriously, and this is not being anything like that, but she needs somebody that can pull her out and not protect her, but understand what's going on
and understand that you need.
They can't coming on.
It affected me differently than
you have no idea.
Ever.
You have no idea.
So what exactly happened that spooked you guys that bad?
For me, I think I had never investigated on a ley line before.
Yeah.
And with me having the abilities that I do, I felt like I was in a pinball machine and just constantly I was confused. I was hearing voices everywhere. I was seeing things that I don't get scared easy. I don't run out. I'm the one that likes to go and, let's go off by myself and see what I can fuck with, you know? And,
there you go, Shelley. There you go.
And it so many things. I mean, it would take forever. And I wish I would have wrote it down, but I was in such a chaotic state pretty much the whole time that I was there. I mean, I even messaged Patty. I'm like, Patty, I'm on a ley line. Does this affect, mediums? How does it, and she's like, gave me a whole spiel of what I needed to do and whatnot. But, I was picking up on so much stuff that, and it was being confirmed by the Ovulus, by the SLS, by and then the Ovulus, of course, the next morning has the little girl Alice and David about fell out of the bed because I had picked it up the Thursday before we left to go.
Yeah,
and I'm sitting there having a class. All these children started coming and. Was like the dinosaur.
And this is all recorded on the SLS.
It was recorded.
This is confirmed by the Ovulus and the Paranormal.
Wow.
Yeah, you can see the little kids coming to sit next to me because I'm pulling up dinosaurs on my phone and saying this is a Tyrannosaurus Rex. That's kind of hard to say.
We're getting things that are confirmation. Also, a spirit box of confirmation of this. And then Kristi, go ahead, and I'll tell them. I'll tell them about how it just turned.
Oh, okay, yeah, and
go ahead.
they were listening, and you could feel like this cold breeze that just came by, and oh god, I'm like in a manic state right now trying to think of it. There's so much that happened.
Yeah.
But the little, they were sitting next to me. One was sitting on my leg, one was sitting next to me, and I was giving them a class on dinosaurs.
Yep.
And they were so happy, so excited. And even on the spirit box, we got T-Rex or something like that. They were actually
Just like a
repeating.
roar. Yeah, just like a roar or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course we got the name that I had was told to on the Thursday prior, and just all of a sudden something, it was horrible. And I said, David, I've got to go. And I told the kids, y'all need to get up and hide.
So
And
so
you can
what
see
happened on
them getting up.
what happened on the SLS is everything went fucking ballistic of just like the stick figures that were there just grew like whatever, just, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say wings or anything like that, but everything just changed. Josh was right next to me in a chair. I was in the bed with the obvious. The obvious was saying temperature drop. The temperature in the room dropped dramatically. Okay.
Wow.
Paranormal Puck said the D word. I'm not going to say it or anything like that. But, and then it said exit, you know. So we got Kristi out. Everybody else, everybody's like, what's going on? He's like, fucking, let's get out now.
But didn't y'all stay? Because I knew I had to go.
We got everybody out, Kristi.
Okay.
And that's when you were feeling, and I went on to the obvious of the green and red of the true or false. I'm asking questions.
That's when they called me the enemy.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it went to the part of we're not going to get into what happened the night before, because that was even more intense. This is just what we're telling you right now. But 3 out of 3 questions were fuck Kristi, basically, and stuff like that. So
Kristi, we're soulmates.
Yeah.
So Kristi was like, okay, you know, there is something that I need to do here. If you go to Hinsdale House, it's the area is absolutely beautiful. Just the land is just tainted. It's just tainted. And so there's a dock and a bench right by this pond, right out by the Hinsdale House. And Kristi goes, I'm going to be there for about 20 minutes. David, come get me in 20 minutes. And I said, okay. And so 20 minutes comes up, and Kristi is just, she has this little smile that she does right here, because she's seeing everything, and I can't see shit. Okay. Look at me. I've got fucking bifocals on, but that's just joking. Okay. That's just in real life. But she's like, look over there. I'm like kind of looking, and she's like, there's something here that either wants us to stay or wants us to go, but it can't come through. And it was, an entity, elemental, whatever you want to call it.
It was half human.
Yeah.
And half, like, kind of looked like a bull, like horns.
Yeah.
And you could see this.
I could see it, and it was like at a barrier, kind of like something was holding it there, that it couldn't come past.
She was holding it there. She's being humble.
And
she was holding it there.
Well, I don't. I think
no,
that
because I saw the outline, and you were holding it there. If not, it would have came and like
it wasn't nice.
No.
Did you get the sense that it was attached to the land, or it had been summoned there?
Yeah,
it was attached. I think it was attached to the land, and it wanted to leave, and it couldn't, and it was just.
It wanted you to stay. It wanted
me
you
to stay, but not for good reasons.
Yeah,
And
because you could have freed it so it would be able to come back, Kristi. And
but who wants
that's
to
why
free something like
yeah,
that?
well, that's why I grabbed you by the hand and honest to God, like seriously, honest to God, we went back and I fucking grabbed my bag, grabbed Josh.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's when we were like, we're out of here.
I grabbed Josh by the ear. I grabbed his fucking bags and put them in the fucking
I'd never
bags, and
seen
we're
anything
out.
like that before.
Yeah.
I mean,
And so we had a hotel
that.
for like we had the hotel for like 3:00. We left there at 10:00, and I lied to the hotel and like when we went there, I said
allegedly.
No, this is real. I lied to the hotel and said,
allegedly.
My friend, my friend is sick. Can we get in the room early? And they were so cool, and I slipped them like $20 saying thank you. Just because like you have no idea of how powerful that place is. And
then I call a friend of mine, and I didn't tell her.
I'm getting sick about it right now, dude. Like
I
seriously.
know.
Wow.
I didn't tell her anything, and she's like, Kristi, you've got this attached to you. And there was some women that attached to me and they were fine. Apparently they were women that were murdered by these men that if anybody knows the story about Hinsdale House, that they were, back in the
dandies and
and they were wanting to be released, and they hitched a ride, but I was still connected to that thing, and she described it to me exactly what I saw, and she's in Las Vegas. So when the guys left, I stayed behind and laid on the bed and let her do the Reiki and trying to cut the cords and trying to get, because and he wasn't far off by telling the lady I was sick, because it made me severely sick.
She was in no shape.
Yeah,
no shape
it was
to investigate.
But I want to go back because I wasn't prepared. I didn't know it was a ley line. I didn't know anything about the house other than what I'd just seen with Nick Groff and Katrina. It's the only time I'd seen anything about it. And and there were many other things that happened, but I think the reason why I was the enemy is they have a tree where you go and give offerings to the Indians to be, to say thank you and thank you for letting us be here. And it's just with me being a witch, it's a beautiful thing to do. Well, you walk up to the tree and you have all these beautiful offerings, and I'm like, no, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel right. So I start walking around, and I get around to the other side of the tree. I get around to the other side
here
of
we
the
go.
tree. Yeah, I know. And the only thing that's hanging there is a besom, and a besom it's basically just a broom, but that's if you're into witchcraft, you know what a besom is. It's basically just to clear negative. I'm like, oh, well, that's why it wanted me over here, because I'm a witch, and so that made sense to me. So I'm going to leave my offering on this side of the tree where nobody else had left it. Everybody left it on the other side, which that made me nothing. It may, we were trying to rack our brains of why I would have been the enemy. And the only thing I could think of is, well, do they have, is there like a rivalry going, with the witches of the land and the Native Americans? I mean, that doesn't even make sense. But that's the only thing that we could think of is that I put my offering on the wrong side of the tree. And maybe I made some enemies.
You definitely made some enemies there. So have fun going back.
The truth.
I can't wait to go back with you. Great. Now I'm gonna have to fucking do this again.
She's gonna drag you kicking and screaming.
I ain't scared.
It's
I ain't
really
scared, Kristi. I'll go with you.
It's really interesting to hear that story, to see just it's almost like Shelly in our group. It's like she's a blend of you and I. You know, she's the one that she's not, you know, Kristi, for one of my understanding, you're the one that you don't give a shit. You're going to go wherever you want by yourself. You're going to go investigate anything that you want to. And that's Shelly. We have been in the middle of a freaking the worst place you could think of. And me and Ryan are like, well, we'll go down here. We'll turn Shelly. Shelly, like, you know, we're just like, oh shit, Shelly. Now we got to go find Shelly. But at the same time, on the other hand, like you and I on a connection of that is like these two have to pull me most of the time out of a location because I'm the one that I just go in. I'm full-fledged fucking open. I don't give a shit. I'm just like, here I am. Let me hear your story. Let me talk to you. Let me communicate.
And I'm afraid if I do too much protection, I'm not going to get things. So it's like I want to be open. But I'm learning now. I mean, I've been doing this for over 10 years and really didn't understand exactly the gifts that I did have. So I've got all this
that she does have.
Sludge. It does have whatever. Okay. Vampires don't have good grammar. Got it? Okay.
no, I'm just saying, like,
English language has evolved a little bit since she
has these incredible gifts, and she's so humble and saying, like, well, this. She has listen, Shelly, you were there with her, so you know, and you know, she's very humble when she says stuff about her, and that's what I love about her.
Well, and Kristi was in a room with me, and we had you came in and they were talking to me. The lights, the little paralight that every time I'd ask it to touch it and ask it to touch it in different places, it was going and touching it.
And it wanted me to leave.
It did. Yeah. I said, do you want Kristi to leave? And it lit all the way up and she walked out. And then all of a sudden, here it goes. It just starts going crazy. Like every time I'd ask it to touch it. But Kristi, I'll tell you, it's usually me. Usually it's called the F Shelly show. That's what I call it. Is the fuck Shelly show, because they're always like, fuck you, Shelly, fuck Shelly.
Yeah, well, Kristi came in and she has this, when you look at her in the spiritual sense or whatever she's doing, she is like a sparkler of everything just going off of her.
Yeah, so my auras are like
everything attracts to her of just going forth. And you know, we were so lucky to stay in the lake house of you know, when we were working with Mike and Chris, and we did the impromptu investigation that night, and so many things were going on. It was incredible, and we're actually going to be, you know, shameless promotion.
Go ahead.
It's going to be our Halloween special in PARAflixx of we're going to be airing a video of that. And
it was just us fucking off doing like an hour.
Dude, that place is no joke. That place is more haunted than the fucking hotel.
But
I would probably agree with you. While I got some stuff at the hotel, I do, and again, we all know that they aren't performing monkeys. They don't dance on command.
Right.
And so they either decide if they want to talk that night or don't. And if they want to talk to you or not.
There's been one team, and it's the Ghost Hunters, and it was on TV, and then it was us.
Yeah. And while I was there, I think you had gone to get something to eat, David.
Yeah.
And I was picking up on something, and I'm like, okay, so I'm
hard travel day. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was texting Dustin Perry because he had been there just
the week before.
The day before. The day before. Yeah, the day before. He came on Friday.
Right. And I was texting him. I was like, dude, this is what I'm feeling with up here, and you know, does this make sense to you? You know, and responding back, it was like, yes, you're spot on. And I'm like, okay, I'm still here by myself.
So I ate my food. Yeah, I ate my food. Kristi was upstairs in the loft. I ate my food, and I'm asleep in just one of the side rooms because we know Chris and Mike is going to stay there the next night. And so I just hear, David, come upstairs, David. And Kristi knows me I will run if I hear like a fucking growl or something like that. It's pretty awesome when you see me run. It's awesome. But I went upstairs and I said, Kristi, are you talking to me? And the fan's going, the TV's on, anything
Now,
like
mind
that.
you, I hadn't slept in almost 48 hours.
Yeah, dude. Like
Whoa.
it was just horrible travel getting there.
So
It was so bad. So bad.
Gone.
And so she gets up and she's like, what the blank are you talking about, dude? And it's like, there was something that was just in my ear that was saying this. And
He
so
was
then,
mimicking me. He said
Yeah.
it was my voice.
yeah, it was just a mimic. So that's when we like, all right, well, fuck it, let's investigate. We
It's
didn't
time to
even want to
investigate.
investigate.
They're asking
We-
you to
yeah,
investigate. That's
we
right.
didn't even want to, and then it just went into this hour-long thing, and you know,
My eyes all swollen.
Yeah.
And,
We're
you
just
know, my
all
hair
gross,
all,
dude.
you know, and
We're
I
just
didn't even have
gross, and we're like,
shoes on.
all right, put it on
And-
Facebook Live.
I'm going to tell you right now, paranormal investigating is nowhere near as glamorous as people
No.
think it is.
No.
But
You are
There was
dirty.
actually
You are
one girl.
stinky.
There was one girl. She's like, Kristi, are you investigating barefoot? I'm like, oh,
It looks like one. Yeah.
Yeah, but
It
it
happens.
was literally like if you've seen the ghost hunters in investigation of the lake house. So we went through the hallway and it's 4 stories. There's a basement, another level, and then there's basically the living level
now,
which has all
Shelley,
the
you've been
bedrooms.
in the lake house, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you know, so we went down the hallway and we were coming down the stairs instead of going up the stairs from the grand room. And as soon as we were coming down the stairs, Kristi's like, there's fucking footsteps, and you can just literally hear them. Like, and this will be on the show of just like boom, 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 boom.
I knew
and
somebody.
and
was
I'm a big
behind
dude.
it.
Shelly, you see me. So going down those stairs, you would hear me walking down the stairs of like creaking, stuff like that. So I'm like going like this, boom, 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 boom. And it was just boom. And then it was just off to the races of, oh, that place. That place. It's a paranormal paradise. Like,
But
like
I
I
want to
said.
buy it though.
Yeah, I know.
Is it,
For
is,
sale.
is
Is it for sale?
Yeah,
Yes.
I want to buy
Yeah.
it.
is it not interesting that when you go into these places that you're not even really expecting to investigate, or it's been, you're
You
just now
aren't.
you're
Those
just
are
now
the best
discovering there's something.
investigations.
Yeah, those are some of the best ones.
ones.
We always allude and tell our people that we have a place called the Gregg County Historical Museum in Longview, Texas, and
Sure.
it has just time after
Longview.
it has
They
just
were football rivals.
it is just time and time and time again.
It delivers every
It's
time.
Just proven that
Right.
there's things there and they want to talk. And I think we are the second paranormal team that's been allowed in there. The first one,
They were
went
told
in
they
it-
couldn't come back.
yeah,
Yeah.
they did a very basic kind of investigation, just not as in depth. And there's something there that wants to talk. It's fascinating to me, these undiscovered locations like that.
Sure.
Well,
Awesome.
there's spirits everywhere.
Oh God,
I
yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
it doesn't matter where you go. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
It's if people think that their house doesn't have a spirit, think again.
Stop being silly. Stop
Think
being
again.
silly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
So
I know mine does. I ain't got no question about that. I just the other day I put up on Facebook. I was like, guys, laying back in bed, had a killer headache. I heard footsteps coming down the hall. I know it wasn't the only one because my dog reacted to it and looked over at the door. And I waited for a second for somebody to turn the corner, and I got up and looked, and I was the only one in the house. I went,
Yeah.
Good
all right,
job.
well,
There you
I
go.
guess that's just a normal
There you go.
Sunday at an investigator's house. Whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Back to watching Gossip Girl or something.
There's so many things that Kristi and I have gone through, not just personally, but collectively, and it's just
oh, the Warren Paracon.
oh my God, we're not even gonna talk about that. Sorry guys.
Well, now listen. Here's
Oh,
the
see,
rule: if you
yeah.
bring it up, you have to talk about
Now
it.
we got to know.
So now choose your words carefully.
Okay. Well, I'll tell my experience, and
Yeah,
then
David can tell his experience to this date. It's been a year now, and I have not told the story.
So,
So,
Exclusive.
it was
all. I haven't told
so
that.
it was just coming out of the pandemic.
Mhm.
A lot of people were, itching to get out. So the Seekers of the Supernatural, the Warren Con, was up in Danbury, Connecticut, and we were able to go up there and do some live things from there and meet some great people. And they had a lot of things from the Warren, basement of Ed and Lorraine Warren.
They're
Oh,
collectibles,
yeah.
Right.
everything
Yeah.
they had,
Ooh.
from the decades,
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
So gosh, how can I say this? So the second day was ending, and it was basically coming to an end. And we were wondering if we could go see it. We've been working really hard and meeting a lot of people, and so let's go. And so Josh, our equipment sponsor, another shameless plug, Addict Junkie Paranormal.com, he's like, okay, let's go. And because he was talking to the guy, and I went in and I was looking at these things, and they're absolutely horrifying when you see them. Especially like the Satan fucking tree thing that was discovered in New Jersey. Right? And
Tell me what this is. I have never been to the Warren Museum. What is this Satan fucking tree thing?
Okay, so
it says on the plaque.
It was discovered in the forests of New Jersey.
Satanic doll. I wonder if I can pull up the pictures.
Oh, if you can find one, I'd love to see it.
Yeah, but it was this just satanic thing that's about like 6 feet tall. That was just put together by wood things, and it's just absolutely horrific, right?
Okay.
And then you go to this, and they have the original Conjuring mirror from the Conjuring house, and then there's Annabelle in her thing, and I'm just like, you know what? Fuck this doll. What is it? No, yes, and here's where it gets funny is so. They say don't challenge, don't stare, anything like that. So I did everything that
they say don't do. You should
Mm-mm.
watch our episode.
David. Oh,
right?
shit.
Yeah. So 6'7", 270, whatever. I went blind for 30 seconds. I took my glasses off. I was reaching around. Josh was with me. He said, what's going on? I said, I can't see. I can't see. It wasn't like full blindness, but it was just like almost like a cataract, of things like that. So I knew then and there, that's it. I'll never see this doll again. Went out, rubbed my eyes, went back. Kristi,
and the Annabelle doll is not what everybody thinks it is. It's a total different.
No, it's a little.
Raggedy Ann.
Raggedy Ann.
Yeah. We did a whole episode on Annabelle. Yeah, Annabelle is
and so Kristi is like, where were you? I was like, I just went into the museum. She's like, well, I want to fucking go. And I was like, rubbing my eyes. I got tears coming out of my eyes. She's like, well, take me, Josh. Josh like, well, let's go, Kristi. She goes, and Kristi, if you want to tell your kind of experience in there, maybe not of what happened afterwards, because afterwards is very personal to her and personal to me.
Yeah.
Of what happened afterwards, because I think.
And it's like, well, I mean, we don't have a time limit on here, do we?
No, we are here to hear the stories.
Well,
hey, you know what? This is like I said, we're letting y'all talk because they listen to us talk all the time. They have heard you guys talk.
Yeah, they hear our voices every week.
So let's reset the stage. Well, so you're walking into the Warren Occult Museum, and you've never been in there before, right? Okay, so you're walking in with Josh. Okay, Kristi.
I just got blinded.
Okay, yeah,
And yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
and I'll make mine kind of quick. Kind
don't have to be
of.
quick.
I don't
She
know.
doesn't want to talk about this. It's
Okay.
very personal.
No, I mean I can. Okay.
You can
There
feel
was
free to leave out
nobody.
the personal
Yeah,
part.
you're
You know, I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
There was nobody else in there. They had tours going in because this is like a traveling museum. They bring
Yeah.
the
Right.
stuff
Right.
to the Paracons and whatnot. So it was just myself and Josh in there, and yeah, the really creepy, ugly doll, which I was looking for. I couldn't find a picture of it. I guess I didn't take a picture. I was going to show you. But I, go up to Annabelle. She starts talking to me. And
Oh.
she's showing me a little girl of what she looks like.
mhm.
The ribbons in her hair, a little ruffled type dress. I'd say around 6, 7. This is the image that she's showing me. And she's like, "You are so pretty. You seem so sweet. Would you let me out of here? I just want a hug. Can I go with you?" And it was like the empathy and I was like, "Oh, she just
Overwhelmed.
wants to be free, and she's not bad." But, in the back of my mind, I'm like, "Oh, okay, she's,
Woo, woo,
yeah."
woo. Pull up,
And
pull up, pull
but
up.
it's like and then you have the thoughts of, well, is it the same entity that's in the doll now that it was back when all of this happened? I mean, the doll is just a vessel,
Mhm.
there's no telling if it's still the same thing, And so I didn't have a problem with well, Josh had to pull me away, and within 20 seconds, I'm right back over standing in front of it, talking with her. To me, I was talking to her. I don't know. Josh said that I was kind of doing this number.
I'm shaking
I was,
when she's telling the story.
yeah, I was kind of trancing out. But then he finally pulled me away from that, and then I'm standing right in front of the conjuring mirror, and me like a dumbass. I'm like, "Ooh, let me see if I can scry on."
Oh,
Jesus,
no.
Kristi, girl.
I'm like,
Taking all the
Damn.
fates.
I was like, "Yeah, let's scry in this big badass
That's so
mirror."
totally what I would do too, though. I'd be like,
And
"Ooh,
then-
listen."
and then all of a sudden, I felt like hundreds of just like, I know that was horrible sound effects, like so
okay.
many people
It's okay.
running through me.
Oh, okay.
wow.
Running out of the mirror, like I had made a portal from the mirror to myself, and they were coming out.
Like you were freeing things.
Yeah, like they were shooting into me. And I just started really going like that. And Josh, I hear Josh kind of like in a kind of like an echo, like
Mhm.
Kind of like in a dream state.
right, right. And I started to walk. I felt if it wasn't for him, I would have hit the floor.
Yeah.
I would have hit the floor. But I didn't think anything of it. I was like, "Oh, okay, this is cool. Yeah, let me go spray some, some Florida water and do a little protection and everything." And everything was fine. And it was the things that happened to me for the next 4 days
Mm.
that I have a hard time with, and I don't.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's like everybody thinks it's Annabelle. I don't. I don't want to say that it was
is everything.
Annabelle. I
It
think
is
it could have been
everything.
anything from any
Yeah.
one of those
Right.
objects.
Yeah, a
that-
culmination and a combination, most
Yeah.
likely.
But it was. Yeah.
It was rough.
Wow.
Yeah, it was rough. And it was rough for David because he had to witness, things that were happening to me.
Yeah.
And it was horrible.
And probably the worst feeling too. And David, I'm
Mhm.
not speaking for you, but
Sure.
I know that I've been in a position where I have felt helpless.
Mhm.
Like whenever Blake had been affected at one point, I couldn't think of enough things to do
Yeah.
fast enough, and I felt
Yeah.
very helpless. and that helplessness, that's very real. And you know, there have been times that I've gotten upset doing something, and these two guys are like, "Hey, are you good?" I'm like, "Just leave me alone. Let me walk it off."
Sure.
You don't know.
Sure.
So yeah, that feeling of helplessness not only is the affected person, you know, struggling, the person who can't fix it is also struggling.
That was one of the hardest times I've ever had investigating personally to myself. It was Gray County Historical Museum that we were just talking about, and I ended up doing an Estes method inside the bank vault that is still there to this day.
Yeah.
And afterwards, Shelley, for some reason, just kind of clued in on something, and it was just like, we have to pull him out, you know, and because I was saying things like, "Get the preacher, get the priest. Can you save me? I need to be saved. Can you help me?"
The same things that I was getting in my Estes method earlier.
And so Shelley was like, "Okay, let's go ahead and let's end this. Let's go ahead and pull him out." And, you know, taking everything off, and I just went to go kind of be pulled up by her. I remember she was to my right and another investigator to my left, and she was like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And I know what pulled me. Never mind, I totally forgot. I was leaned down like this, and all of a sudden I went, "I've got hands on my chest."
And
wow.
I kept saying he can't breathe.
That's
I kept
exactly
going,
what
he
it
can't
was.
breathe. But it was funny because usually we say whoever wants to, like if I'm doing it, I say, you know, I don't care, whoever wants to lead. And Blake was going to, and I said, "Well, who do you want to lead?" We usually let whoever because in the moment you kind of know who you want to lead and be in charge of you know, your well-being at the moment. And I said, "Well, okay, Ryan, you lead." And Blake goes, "No, you lead." And I had been the one that had been getting all the negative all night long. These two hadn't gotten anything negative. Everything had been coming at me. And I'm going, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he actually ends up, we call it getting jumped, because possession, I think, lasts a little longer. Getting jumps a quick in and out. And it's, but he ended up getting jumped.
Yeah, I had this pressure of just two.
And I was watching
large hands. I felt that they were male, and I leaned back, and Shelley's like, "We're done."
I'm like, "He can't breathe. Get him
and
up."
She just looked at me after I took everything off. She was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, I feel, and I was trying to
collapsed.
say the word,
like he crumpled,
and I just crumpled over, and I mean, just this flood of emotions, just tearful and sorrowness, and I just started profusely crying, and Shelley's like, out now. I mean, they're reaching for holy oil and holy water.
Oh God, I think we threw everything we had on him.
I'm laughing with you, not at you guys, but we know it, and it's a rule that Kristi and I have of 15, and that's it. If we do 15 minutes, and that's it. Anything more than your.
Because I had done it before where when I was investigating with the Wraith Chasers on ghost hunt weekends, and I was on it for like 45 minutes, and come to find out, the whole time I was channeling. I was and nobody realized, you know, when you're doing the Estes, you really don't realize what's going, especially the person that's not hearing anything. And I know what I was saying, but I don't hardly ever remember what I say.
I usually don't remember the moment. I have to go back and watch it back.
Piece it together. But the whole time, I wasn't aware of my surroundings. I had no idea that it had been, when they pulled me out, I was like, "Why are you pulling me out?" It felt like it had only been 5 minutes. And it wasn't anything negative. It was just the man was wanting to dance with me. He was, I remember him playing with my hair. He was like from the 1700s, a very nice gentleman, but the whole time it was centered on me. And when I got done, I was so sick. He wasn't trying to harm me.
Sure.
But I had used, and this was before I really realized that I was, you know, that I channel very easily. And so I couldn't.
He'd taken so much energy, I
couldn't finish. I had to go back to the hotel room. We was at Nickerson Sneed in Virginia, and I just had to go back to the hotel. I couldn't
Yeah,
Well,
I mean
I think
that takes a lot out of you when you're doing
Yeah.
this method, because like we'll be on an investigation and we'll do several all night long, and by the time you're done, I mean you are zonked for energy. You just like, I just want to go lay down, because
Yeah.
that transfer of energy is very intense.
well
Yeah.
when
Oh,
when
definitely.
when David was saying earlier, anything past 15 minutes, that's why it's our cutoff time too, is that you just begin to spiral. And I'll come fully open and clean. I've never 100% ever talked about this exclusive on the podcast, but when we were at Yorktown Memorial Hospital in June of 21, last year, June of last year, me and Ryan, we were doing an Estes method. I was under, Ryan was leading. I stayed under for 29 minutes.
Oh,
And
I wasn't
Yeah.
present, or that
Sitting
wouldn't have
on
happened.
the steps.
sitting
on the steps in the
sitting on the altar steps in the chapel at Yorktown Memorial Hospital.
in a
Yeah.
fucking church.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Fuck,
And
man.
again, that's one of the places that this
Later
team,
skater.
we are not the first one to scream that D word out, but that is one place that we kind of feel.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
I've
don't.
been in
there is
churches.
one.
They've asked me to
You
leave.
can say it, man.
Well,
You're
You
not
can say it.
welcome.
It's just
Well, my whole
oh
thing
my
is that
God.
I think what ended up happening was that, I said earlier, I just go in full-fledged fucking open. I don't care,
wow.
I think I almost allowed
You
myself
gotta
some
be
type
careful,
of
Blake. You gotta be
connection.
careful,
I know.
Oh, yeah.
After that, I've never done that again. I did end up bringing something home with me after that one that did try to drag me out of
Gotta
bed in the
protect
middle of the night.
Oh, I've had that happen. Whoa.
Oh, you had that happen too? Yes, about yes. And I was screaming bloody murder, and I woke
I've
up
had
and I'm
that
like,
you could feel the hands crawling at my
yes.
legs, and
See,
I
I
thought it was
still,
my boyfriend that had
Yeah.
come
I-
home. I'm like, oh, and
I-
then
Hey, we're going to It's like, hey, where is he?
See, I woke up from blood curdling screams with the feeling of hands still wrapped around my ankles, and everything from my
Wow.
knee down to my foot was off the foot of the bed, and I was being
Jesus
drugged backwards.
Christ.
Yeah. After that, of course, I cinched up my house, did a shit ton of protection, and all that. Was like, no, you got to go, buddy. Like, we're cutting this tie right now. You're not here to stay. Get the fuck out.
Now,
And,
hey, Ryan, I know that there is one story in particular that I know that you want to hear about, and we cannot let them go anywhere until you get to ask your question, because this is your question
Well,
that you have
Ryan
been
has
waiting
been
for.
so quiet.
I know.
And it's like,
Fuck, Ryan. What's
Do
going
you know
on?
what that means? That means that Ryan is fascinated with the story.
Yeah, I'm just listening. Like sometimes I sit here and listen, and like I don't know. Yeah, you guys have just been very interesting and awesome to listen to. So I'm kind of sitting over here, kind of biding my time a little bit and listening to you guys. But the question that I do want to ask, and it's going to be for David. I was listening to one of you guys' shows, and you had mentioned that you were a witness to the Phoenix Lights.
Yeah.
Can you tell people a little bit about what the Phoenix Lights were, and can you tell them about your story?
Well, the Phoenix Lights were March 13th, 1997. I remember the date distinctly. My wife was an undergraduate at Arizona State University. We were living on East 11th Street, right by Apache Boulevard, south of Broadway. And if you look to the west, it is the South Mountain mountain range of, I forget the national parks there, but over the top of that, there is a military range that missiles are fired from. In our bedroom, we had a huge bay window that was probably 4 by 6, 6 feet by 4, and there was a lot of scuttlebutt that was going on the radio and things like that. So I started looking out the window. There was about 40 people that went down and watched these lights. And Kristi will get into this later. My father was in the Air Force. He was a fighter pilot. They kind of talked about how these were flares, anything like that. We now know that this UAP was tracked from Tucson up to Phoenix. We now know how big it was, of over fucking 3 miles wide over a major city, and how it just disappeared. The thing about the Phoenix Lights is it changed a lot of people's minds of, you can talk about UFOs, UAPs, whatever you want to call them. There's disclosure now, there's recognition. But when you see a major event like that, and we can kind of make this go with the holy grail of paranormal investigating, when you see an apparition,
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw these things and I saw what was going on, and hundreds of thousands of people in Phoenix were calling everybody. It's documented. There's no doubt about it. The lights were examined by, everybody that can examine lights of how you can do it at that time. And even now they still are.
And they're calling the air base though.
Mhm.
Exactly.
They're calling the air base to get
Dude.
the F-15s or F-16s.
They were scrambled. They were scrambled.
to-
They know it.
You don't do that.
Yeah, it's a big deal if you
Yeah.
got to scramble them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. It was scrambled.
I mean, I'm prior military. I was in the Air Force.
Thank you
on
for your
the flight
service.
line.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. And they're not going to put a pilot in there and take, a $1 million aircraft up there just for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, not for
It's
shits
not
and
really
giggles.
cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Really
not
cheap to do
sure.
that.
I'm not sure if it was 15s or 16s, but I know 2 planes were scrambled.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then they just eventually disappeared. So you had the great video from I forget the name of the doctor, but she lived on Camelback Mountain and showed the how the lights appeared and then how they disappeared. You
Now,
had
weren't they like in
a triangle.
they
Yeah.
were in a triangle.
Yeah, it was basically kind of like this, Kristi. I'm sorry, I'll have to do it this way, but it was kind of like, an arc like this, but it was over South Mountain. And it was on the other side of South Mountain. So that's why Phoenix and the Air Force and the government said, oh, it was just flares from the firing range.
Oh, fuck
Yeah.
flares.
Yeah. And everybody knows
This is a girl
knows
from my
that
heart.
flares, or if you're chafes are
Uh-huh.
like that and then just gone.
Uh-huh.
And they know that flares are boom with a parachute and they come down like this.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So there's a
but
swinging
weren't
method.
there some
of-
other cities that saw it as well?
It was over
Yeah.
Tucson. It was over
Oh,
Tucson at first. It was over
right.
Tucson at first, and then it started coming up towards Phoenix. So
David,
and,
where were you standing whenever you saw this?
I
Tell me where you
was
were.
I was
What
I
were
was
you doing?
standing I was standing in my bedroom at first of watching this. Okay, and then went downstairs with about 40 other people and
Mhm.
was watching it out in like the back.
So you were basically standing in the street
Yeah.
with a bunch of other people just watching these
yeah,
lights.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did it
Well-
pass over you? I'm sorry, Ryan.
No,
I
no.
guess.
No. So South Mountain is probably about like 10, 15 miles to
Okay.
the west of Tempe.
Mhm.
So it was about there, but you could see it like we had a full view of that mountain of from where it was. It's mountains in Phoenix. You can see them everywhere. So because everything is like one story, so it's all ranch houses.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
So you have all these lights. I mean, did they go like into like aerial,
No,
tricks?
no,
and
it
shit?
was
Or
just
what it is?
stationary. It was just stationary, and everybody's like, it's just one of those things of where you're just in amazement of what's
Mhm.
going on.
And you're
'Cause you
experiencing it
know
as a
it-
group.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not like
Everybody's seeing it, and
Yeah.
everybody's realizing at the same time. Okay, this is not
real.
Yeah,
registering
I mean,
in my
I
mind.
I can't say what it was. I don't know.
But you could see that it was a solid craft as well.
I know what I saw. Yeah.
But you could see it was a solid
here's
craft.
a quote, because I knew we were going to talk about this.
But was it now? Ryan just asked if you could see it was a solid craft, or was it?
No, you could not see that. You could only see the lights. But this is from Kurt Russell. Okay, and Kurt Russell is a decorated pilot. Okay, and he was flying into Phoenix that night, and this is what he said. I was flying with his son Oliver to go see his girlfriend, and we were on approach, and I saw 6 lights over the airport in absolute uniform V shape. Oliver said to me, I was just looking at him. I was coming in and maybe a half a mile out, and Oliver said, Pa, what are those lights? Then I kind of came out of my revere and said, I don't know what they are. He said, okay, are we here? And he said, yeah, I'm going to call in and report it. So that was Kurt Russell. He was a pilot that was coming in. The thing that happened afterwards is where I get really angry about the Phoenix lights. Yeah. Because everybody knows what happened. They know about the Air Force, the scrambling. They know about Kurt Russell. They know about plenty of other planes that were reporting it to Phoenix International.
And civilians as well. I mean, just people calling in.
So then the next day, who is it? I forget the governor, but he comes out and he's like, oh, and he's got the alien in handcuffs and things like that, saying it wasn't anything. And he's come out and said he believes that it was an alien ship over Phoenix. It was a life-changing event, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how it is when you see something that you cannot explain. Go ahead, Ryan. I'm sorry.
I was say, no, you're fine. I was gonna say, did you get the same feeling, like kind of what you said earlier? You said when you see an apparition, you know it. Did you get that same feeling when you were looking at these lights coming over the mountain?
Yeah, I saw something when I was younger with my grandmother. It wasn't as distinct, but it was very evident of what it was. With the thing, with the, how can I explain this? With what was going on there at that time, we were all, how can I say this, in a trance of just watching this, of almost like watching a car crash in slow motion. You know what I'm saying? Of just like,
Are we actually
seeing what we think we see?
And nobody can say anything to anybody, because you're looking at this going like, what is it? And just like you asked, I didn't see a shape, but I saw those things. And when you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the strange thing, we all know that if you, like you say, you've seen the lights, I've seen a shadow figure run up in my face, and you will tell people this and they will go, really? And you're going, I promise you, I wouldn't tell you that if I didn't, because I understand how crazy I sound when I say that.
Absolutely.
I mean,
it was, it's one of those soft underbelly things that Phoenix kind of puts under its covers, just like Point Pleasant in West Virginia with Mothland or anything like that.
Or Area 51.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just, there's so many documented things about what happened before they came to Phoenix, of the triangle thing coming up from Tucson and stopping in certain places over Prescott and Yarnell and Wickenburg and things like that, of where it finally came to and finally rested. And when, man, I wish I could actually express to you of what it was like at that time, but it's, fuck, man, it's 27 years ago, but I do remember the date, man. It's one of those things.
It impacted you that much,
right?
Dude, it just goes, and you can quote Contact, if there's nothing out there, it's just a big waste of space, man.
Well, now we've got that new telescope.
Yeah.
The Jet Webb, or no, something.
Yeah,
Webb.
and
Webb.
they've already found a wormhole, and then they found something. I can't remember the name of it. But
well, Ryan,
you just a wormhole, maybe a black hole.
Ryan,
no, it was a wormhole. They had a black hole, but they didn't. Ryan, back me up on this.
You're right.
Well,
I was going to say, I know that they just recorded sound from a black hole for the first time because they thought they could never do that.
Yes, but then they said that they found
too,
something that was dealing with, I
do recall something that could potentially be a wormhole.
Yeah.
Could be a wormhole. Yes, I did hear that as well.
But Ryan,
it's like time travel. Yes, it's like, oh my God, time travel.
Well, Ryan, you had just sent us a link today of all days about that Congress has now come forward, buried deep in an intelligence agency, for the budget and all that kind of stuff. That says
quantum leap was real, y'all.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, they're out there and they're not man-made.
Josh heard
this.
Like Kristi's doing so well right now because we interviewed Josh Hurd from Muller Manor and the G Crew with everybody, and him and I just went off because we were really getting into they were going to release things on UFOs, and we were so disappointed afterwards and things like that, and now things are coming out, and it's just like we're not stupid. We're not telling you lies.
I mean, I've known since I was little. My dad worked for the Pentagon, and he transported a lot of paperwork, back and forth, and he would say stuff that we're not alone, and this and that.
Your last name is Grissom.
My cousin was Gus Grissom, the astronaut that blew up on the launch pad. But I mean, as before, it was 67, 68.
You totally just, by saying that your dad transferred paperwork or even worked for the Pentagon, you just became Shelley's even more best friend if it was even humanly possible for that to happen.
And my dad is very religious, Baptist, and for him, to say that we're not alone, and he knows, and he can't tell me things, and I'm like, Dad, you're 85, you're gonna die soon. Could you just tell me something? So I'm hoping for a deathbed confession.
Christy, you let me at him. I'll get him to
No, it's just those things of now it's finally coming forward that these are being recognized
little by little.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, what do they think, that we can't handle it? Like, if
it really goes into of what a lot of the supernatural and paranormal has been talking about, of interdimensional portals, things like that, because we don't know where they're from, right?
And we don't know if they're friendly or not.
Absolutely. So is this coming from, is this interdimensional? Is it from an
parallel universe?
Absolutely. Is this from a distant planet? Are we their ant farm? Things like that. So
we are their little experiment.
Yeah. So you have to get into these serious questions.
And plus the fact that if they are proven, and I hate to bring up
they are
R word. It's the R word is kind of like the D word. But the religion is going to be turned upside down.
It's been revealed. It's been revealed, and the religion isn't going anywhere with it. Like people,
there's no reason the two can't coexist.
No, I will agree to disagree on that.
we don't talk religion, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. Nor do I. Nor do I. So,
I'm pagan, so I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
Go at it.
I'm a recovering Catholic, by the way.
I'm a backsliding Methodist, so it's all good.
Oh, there you go. So we're all
Us
friends.
Methodist, we can
Let's
go
have
sit
a
in the
worship
church on
song.
Sunday. Yeah, we can go sit in the church on Sunday as all's forgiven.
Oh my
As long as you
God.
show up and put your money in the plate, you good.
And then me and Christy will be somewhere else because I'm right in your camp, girl.
Just wait till
When
you
I
go,
to
go to
churches, they
confession
tell me
on
to get
Wednesday.
out.
And I'll just be at a
welcome.
Slayer show. I'll see y'all later.
There you go. We're going with
There you
you.
go. Perfect.
Hey
Perfect.
guys, would you mind telling them where they can find your fabulous show, Our Haunted
wow.
Lives? Where can they find you guys?
Not
Because I
Christy.
know now they're going to be absolutely wanting to go find you guys and listen to you guys all the time. So how do they find you?
Christy, do you want to do it? Or you want me to do it in my radio voice?
David, you have just the amazing voice, and I'm
You
Yes,
do.
absolutely.
You
Do your
do.
best radio announcer voice, David. You are on.
So you can find Our Haunted Lives from Twitter to TikTok, all social media outlets. If you see on my little thing right there, it says OHL Talk Show. That's where you can find me on Twitter, or go to ourhauntedlives.com. I do want to let people know that the website has been shut
sucked
down.
right now.
Yeah, has been shut down until the first of the year. We're going to start off with a really big bang and come back with, I guess we could say it, some merchandise and things like that. But if you really wanted to find the show, you can go to PARAflixx. That is where we are exclusively aired. It's PARAflixx.com. It's $3.99 a month, or $29 or $34 annually. So that's a year. So it's not that bad. There's a 3-day free trial if you want to watch it. Obviously, we're on there, which is great. But there is a lot of great paranormal content on there that is just incredible. There's some great documentaries. There's some great shorts. There's great music. There's great everything on there. And if you're into the paranormal and you just are tired of seeing the same shows and how people
It's like the Netflix.
Yeah.
Yes.
Paranormal.
I
Great
love
way to
that.
put it. Great
There's
way
a
to put
lot
it.
of great shows on there of, Expedition Entity, Hauntophobia, Haunted Nights, or Twisted Realm. There's so many great things and so many different ways that people can learn
Get their fix.
Get their flicks, like
Get their
that.
flicks and their
And-
fix. That's
And
right.
if you wanted to contact us, you can contact me at ohldavidtaylor@gmail.com. And if you want to go through booking or to get bookings, contact Kristi at KristiParanormal@gmail.com. And you know what? We're always up to do investigations with people. That's what we love to do. To meet new people and to bring them on the show. We not only have, the big bangers of, Patty Negri and stuff like that on, but we also have, grassroots, because this is what really keeps the community going. So I hope that was okay. And
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I tell you guys, hang with us for just a second. We're going to let Blake do a little housekeeping now. Blake, tell them
I'm
everything
like,
they need to
no,
know.
I'm about to turn around and go, okay, David, here's where they can find us. If you don't mind relaying this
Send me a copy, man. Just send me a copy. No
in
problem.
that exact same voice, that would be great. No, so whatever social media channel you're watching us from, that is not the only social media channel we are on. Make sure you go follow us across the board. We don't use our social media for the same reason. We use different platforms for different reasons. So go follow everything Vaguely Paranormal across the board. Also, if you would like to join us for an investigation, you can at Old Park, because guess what? It's sold out. But you can at the Gregg County Historical Museum. That is going to be on October the 22nd. Those tickets are already half gone. So go get them before they
There are
completely
6
sell
left.
out.
I think there's 6
I think
left,
it's
so you
about
better
6
hurry
left.
up.
So yeah, all of ours for the rest of the year is starting to sell out. So Shelly, what else can they do?
Well, if you want to know what we really talk about, here are real phone calls. And child, we've had some good ones lately. You can go and become a Paracon Patreon.
Paracon
Patreon
Patreon.
member.
Go do that too. See, and I haven't messed that up in I don't know how long. Go become a Patreon member. It's $5 a month. We don't nickel and dime you. It's not 5, 10, 15 for everything. $5 a month. And you will be able to hear what we really talk about, what we really think about things, because we behave when we're on here, child.
Awesome.
So if you want to know which of us is truly the craziest, go watch tonight's pre-broadcast.
Awesome.
And Ryan, tell them what else they need to know.
Go to any podcast platform where you get your podcast. Please rate and review and share us. Subscribe to us on YouTube and tell 2 friends about us and have them tell 2 friends. And Blake, if they have any questions or anything that they want to send to us, where can they go to do that?
I'm gonna try my David voice.
Just do it, man.
That would be the evppod@gmail.com. That's THEEVPPOD@gmail.com. I can't get lower, man. Calm down.
You gotta get lower.
You gotta get a soundboard,
Wait,
man.
let's let Blake have one more shot at it.
Okay,
Try
No,
it again, Blake.
I can't go that low, yo. I cannot go that. I can't get that low. The
I could lower than him.
evppod@gmail.com. Yeah, you probably.
Let me
Blake.
hold on. Let me try. Let me try.
Kristi
Hang
is
on.
more butch than you. Go for it,
Let
Ryan.
me try. Go to the
Find us
EVP
at the
gmail.com.
There you go.
Wait, David, come on, Ryan. Well, let's get
No.
Ryan another shot.
No,
Ryan,
I'm gonna
shot.
look.
He was fine.
I'll be contacting David after the show to take
Yeah,
my personal voice
absolutely.
lessons.
No,
Be all right.
that, and I'll let you know the soundboard that I use that makes you sound even more
Perfect.
better.
Sounds good.
I do want to let people know that we will be in Columbus, Georgia next weekend with Attic Junkie. We're doing an investigation there. I will be in October 14th and 15th. I will be in Hamlet, North Carolina with PD Region Paranormal. Kristi, you'll be in
I'll be at the Thomas House.
yeah,
with
Thomas House
Chris
with the
and
Wraith
Mike
Chasers.
With Wraith Chasers,
Heck
and
yeah.
with my
And then
weekend.
you will be at the Endless Nights. Go ahead. On October 31st.
Well, that's the vampire ball.
A
But
vampire
in 2
ball.
weeks,
Yeah, and
I'll
I'm
be
waiting
at-
for my invitation too, girl. Just,
Yeah.
just
I'll get it to you, girl.
Thank
I'll get it to you. But in 2 weeks, I'll be at Hotlanta in Atlanta with PARAflixx, supporting Natalie, the CEO. So
totally.
that's going to be fun. And
And then,
and then David and I will be in.
November 4th, we will be at Mass Paracon with Sam Bellatrusis. We are one of the major sponsors up there. So Saturday, we will be doing a lot of interviews with people from Jane Zanito to April Brusset. It's just basically going to be a talk show format. So if anybody is in the area of anything that we're doing, please come and hang out and support us, and please support EVP.
thank
Support
you.
your
Yes,
local
that's
paranormal people, please.
Yes, please.
It's awesome to have these people around.
Hey, who's EVP?
Let them make $1.01.
So everybody, I just want to let you guys know, I'm Shelley Pruitt. These are my partners of paranormal, Mr. Blake Smith and Mr. Ryan Roberts. And special thank you tonight to our guest, Mr. David Taylor and Miss Kristi Grissom, VamPara, the Lady of the Darkness, from Our Haunted Lives, the #1 show on PARAflixx. Thank you so much for joining us, you guys. Thank you for watching Everything Vaguely Paranormal. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday. Bye, you guys.
Bye, guys.